The Polkadot ecosystem has grown significantly since the summer of 2020, and with the Kusama parachain auctions just around the corner, it could be in February or it could be in March of this year at the latest, and then with Polkadot's parachains to follow in April or May of this year. Of course, we need to stay up to date with the latest news to see what's been going on, and hence why in today's video I'm going to be talking about Polkadot, Kusama, ChainX, which is the bridge between Bitcoin and Polkadot, then Phala Network, the privacy network of Polkadot, and finally, I'll talk about HydraDX, which are finally due to launch their token in early February on Balancer. And we'll take a look at their latest Medium article just to find out how they're actually planning to launch it, what the team distribution is going to be, and what the community could actually get. And of course, the total supply, because this is what we're interested in as well, to find out how the price could potentially move based on that supply. So without further ado, let's get straight into CoinMarketCap to find out what's going to happen. So we can see here on CoinMarketCap, the Polkadot price here has dropped quite a bit, right? It was like at almost 20 bucks. I believe it did touch that on some exchanges, but it's trading at 16.32 now. So one of the things they've got coming up very, very soon, and that's in February, on the 5th of February, and it's going to last until the 12th of February, is an event in Denver, United States, which is called Ethereum Denver 2021, or short ETH Denver 2021. So that's where we're going to find out what Polkadot are up to, and they're very likely going to make some kind of announcement when this event kicks off, right? Because usually at these kind of events we find like the latest updates from Polkadot, because it's their chance to advertise themselves to the world, right, to the crypto community. Now, aside from that, they do have one more big event coming up in May of this year, which I'm assuming is going to be after the parachain launch, assuming that everything goes okay with the Kusama parachain launch. And it's going to be called Polkadot Decoded, and that's going to take place in May again in 2021, just to let you know. But yeah, I mean, the price has been doing okay considering how it used to be even in December and November. Like, it has grown significantly. No complaints about that, right? You cannot complain about that. Not many projects have grown as Polkadot has grown. The hype has just been insane as people are basically accumulating for those parachain auctions, because they want to take part in those parachain auctions, which are like token sales, except you're not actually losing your DOT, you're actually locking it for up to 2 years. You can actually vote in various slots, so you can lock it for 6 months, for 12 months, for 18 months, or for 2 years. Now, the next thing I want to talk about is Kusama. We haven't really got many updates from Kusama, but the price has finally broken 100 bucks. I did talk about this a while back, where I did say that I do think that Kusama is going to break 100 bucks. There's no doubt about that. And of course it did. It actually went to like 120, I think even a bit over 120, but it has pulled back a bit, even under 100, but now it's gone back up again. There haven't been many updates apart from these really cool mugs that we can see here, ceramic mugs. That are basically NFTs now as well. So you can see these pots now have NFTs. So somebody tweeted this and then Kusama have retweeted it. But aside from that, we don't have too many news from Kusama. Everybody's excited about the upcoming parachain launch, so I guess their full focus is on that now, not really on Twitter. But there is like a small update here, so we can see that Roadkea app has actually upgraded to v1.12.2, which offers native support for Kusama Network, supports Bitcoin, supports this and that. So we can see this is how it looks. So yeah, Kusama has been integrated in this as well. So yeah, we'll be seeing more and more apps and dApps trying to integrate into Kusama as the ecosystem is expanding, because it's not just an experimental ecosystem, it's also going to be its own ecosystem independent from Polkadot, which is eventually going to be connected to Polkadot, as Gavin Wood has said in an interview. And that's going to be interesting to find out how all these different dApps that are only building on Kusama are going to be interoperable with Polkadot's dApps, because it's all about interoperability. Now, next, let's talk about ChainX. So ChainX have posted an update to say that they're finally supporting mobile phones with the new features of the new ChainX wallet, which is on dapps.chainx.org. I have done a dedicated tutorial on the ChainX wallet. Do check it out if you're interested to know how to stake and also how to get around the current staking bug that we've got, because some people are getting errors when they try to stake to a node, which of course doesn't help, right? It gives kind of a negative vibe to the community, but there is a workaround for that. So yes, I did cover that in the video, thanks to Alexander, who's the admin from the ChainX Telegram community. So do check that out. But in terms of the price, I mean, PCX has taken a plunge, right? I mean, considering what it was in December, which was like 270, 280 even, like it was just under $3, and then it had that huge pop when they've announced white paper 2.0 release. It did pop to around $4. It was like 3 something and 4, and then as throughout January, I think it was around mid-January, it actually went to $8 on MXC exchange. And again, not financial advice, but if you're interested to get into PCX on MXC exchange or anything else from the Polkadot ecosystem, as you know, MXC does support a lot of these tokens and coins from the Polkadot ecosystem. My referral link can be found in the description of this video. You do get a 30% off your trading fee when you use my referral link to sign up for MXC, just so you know. And then do follow my tutorial if you want to know how you can send your tokens from MXC exchange to your wallet and then to stake them and compound those gains, because you want to compound the interest for the upcoming parachain launch on Kusama for SherpaX, which is ChainX's sister network. Because what they're going to be doing is they're going to be airdropping you on a 1-to-1 ratio the KSX token based on your PCX holding, right? So if you have, say, 100 PCX, you're going to get 100 KSX. So make sure you don't miss that. I can't reiterate that enough. So many people are forgetting that, and they're probably selling PCX out of fear of the price dump, or maybe it's just validators selling for profits, right? Because validators already have likely a huge amount of PCX staked to the nodes, so they want to sell for profits. They want to be able to cover costs, etc. A lot of these validators tend to have nodes on various other assets as well, not only on ChainX. So they're just basically focusing on the top crypto projects, and they're staking them, creating validators on there to get those rewards. So this could be potentially one of the reasons, but they're also due to launch on OKX, by the way, because there was a voting competition for the community listing, and ChainX has actually made it on the top. They had like 14% of the votes, with Bifrost following up with 11%. So yeah, ChainX are going to get listed on OKX likely on Monday. That's when we're going to see the announcement. So hopefully that's going to cause a bit of a price pop as we see that, especially if they announce some trading competition. And also we do expect Huobi to list ChainX. Again, this is just speculation from my side, nothing is confirmed, but we know that Huobi is supporting the Polkadot ecosystem. We know that Huobi has listed Darwinia, Phala Network, but not ChainX. So what's them to stop from listing ChainX, PCX, right? It is very likely going to happen, and I'm also assuming that KSX is also going to get listed. This is all on the assumption that they're going to be able to bond to that parachain on Kusama first, and then of course ChainX on Polkadot. But first, ChainX need to get that Rococo version. They need to get that implementation of the Rococo version, because at the moment they are building on Substrate, but they're an independent network from Polkadot themselves. Even though they're on Substrate, they're interoperable, but they are independent. They cannot communicate to their relay chain, and hence why I want to talk about Phala Network here, where they've actually mentioned that Phala Network is becoming the parachain running on Rococo v1. So we can see here Phala Network are on Rococo. 7 parachains are running on Rococo v1. So we can see that in the 5th batch we've got ChainX here. So ChainX are going to be a while, right? We've got Darwinia Network, which is going to be in the 3rd batch. In the 2nd batch we've got Interlay. This is the other network that's going to try and bring Bitcoin over to Polkadot. It's fully supported by Polkadot, and I think that they've got a Web3 Foundation funding as well. Now, ChainX do not require a Web3 Foundation funding. I have asked in their Telegram group. Apparently, they've got their own funding because of the block rewards that they're getting, 50 PCX per block, so they can actually fund themselves. So they don't need extra funding. Bifrost is going to happen even before that. And also Clover, which is one that I've spoken about. They recently got the Wave 9 Foundation grant from the Web3 Foundation. So do keep an eye out on Clover. Clover is a very important one as well. It's basically an operating system on Polkadot. So how hyped are you about this? And of course, Akala is part of this too. Akala Network is super hyped. The biggest DeFi on Polkadot. And why am I hyped about ChainX even more? It's of course because Akala are going to be using XBTC, which is going to be created from the ChainX Vault. So that's very bullish. Of course, Akala and ChainX working together. And with regards to Phala Network, we can see the price has been doing significantly well, considering it used to be under 10 cents for so long. It popped over 30 cents not too long ago. Now it had a bit of a pullback, but yeah, I mean, these updates are very, very bullish. So yeah, the privacy network on Polkadot is one to keep an eye on to see what's going on. So again, there's actually some information on computation cloud with privacy. So if you're interested to read this article, do so. Basically, they're talking about how Phala Network is more than just a smart contract platform. So do check out this article on Phala Network to find out, because privacy is much needed, right? But we also have to be careful with privacy because governments could try to crack down on them. So who are they going to come after? Probably Polkadot, or likely after Phala themselves, because the team is visible. They're transparent. You can see them on the website. So they may come over and try to crack down on them, right? Anything is possible when it comes to government. So without further ado, last but not least, HydraDX distribution. So the bootstrapping liquidity, they're finally going to launch on Balancer in February. That's what they've said in their Telegram group. So here we need to find out how they're going to be distributing these funds, because this is what they're saying here. So they're saying that the funds were committed before any notion of coming success. The company tasked with launching HydraDX receives 15% of the total token supply, and that is both investors and founding team, which will receive a combined 15%. The rest, 85%, is reserved for anyone who wants to participate. Now, the industry standard has become private investors, founders, and other insiders gobbling up 40% to 70% of the total supply. Such concentration is suboptimal, making decentralization in the future an obscure future vision. And I can't reiterate this enough, because I was very annoyed with Rio DeFi, and I know they're probably going to hate me for this if you're a follower of Rio DeFi, but it's the reality, right? They've basically given their butts to the private investors, right? Because they have given them a lot of tokens during that token sale. They got in very cheap, and then they started dumping on those people that started to FOMO in on Uniswap when the price was like 20 cents. And then it started dumping and dumping and dumping, and it didn't stop dumping as those private investors were getting their funds. They were delighted. They were like, yes, keep pumping the price, you know? So they kept releasing the funds on Uniswap, selling, dumping the price down to like 3 cents. So imagine, from 20 cents to 3 cents. Of course, the community was absolutely annoyed when everything else was doing well. Or fuel crashed to the floor. And of course, they have recovered a bit now that the private investors are likely managing the sell-off differently. But at the beginning, they didn't care. They were like, I want to get my profit. So of course, they got in cheap, they sold. If you were a private investor and you invested, say, 100K or maybe even more in a token, of course, if you're getting that huge profit of even 3x, 4x, 5x, you're going to want to dump straight away, and you don't care about how hurt other people are going to be, right? Because you just care about filling up your own pocket. So that's pretty much what happened there with Rio DeFi, and this is why HydraDX are trying to avoid that, and this is why I really appreciate this team for doing that, right? And this is what decentralization is all about, and also managing it in a way so that these whales don't take control and basically sell on the FOMO buyers, on people that ape into a project, as they say in the crypto community. Now let's talk about the liquidity bootstrapping pool. So this is how it's going to work. The main advantages of it over Uniswap listing is a choice of various ratios that do not restrain us to 50-50. It also offers additional programmability, etc., etc. Now, let's find out exactly how it's going to work, right? So the main objective of HDX distribution are to conduct an initial price discovery, which helps us set up our native liquidity pool at mainnet and publicly distribute part of the supply, which is like around 5%, to the HydraDX community in LBP. All funds that will be exchanged for an ERC20 representation of HDX, let's call it X HDX, will be moved to the HydraDX protocol pool. This will become the initialization liquidity as soon as bridging Ethereum and Polkadot technology allow it. HDX LBP really is a means to distribute rather than a sale. The only beneficiary is the pool and the protocol itself. This is not a token sale. It is a claim on the future of a network that may be bootstrapped to existence. Now, no entity is using the proceeds from the LBP. All funds that will be exchanged for XHDX will become the initialization liquidity of the HydraDX protocol liquidity pool and remain in the ownership of the network. Now, once the chain is ready, a stakenet period begins with a one-way bridge from ERC20 HDX representation to a substrate native HDX. So that's why we're saying here that there's actually no substrate launch yet. So they're creating this pool in order to have the funds available there, but it's not until substrates native HDX is going to be available that will actually be able to get a hold of these. So on the native substrate chain, HDX holders will be able to stake and receive rewards. So no staking until the substrate chain. Now the rewards from HDX staked by founders and investors at this stage will go towards the on-chain treasury, so they're going to be funding the treasury. Additional 5% will be claimed in this stakenet and incentivized testnet period. These rewards will be used as a stress test of maximum number of validators, transactions, and other parameters, and allow holders to receive additional HDX. We also need to use this period for bootstrapping HydraDX validator sets. This mechanism, pioneered by Cosmos, has proved itself a very useful approach for launching a stress testing the new proof-of-stake networks. Before we can launch HydraDX mainnet, we need to be sure that all features are working as intended and every critical bug was discovered, of course, and of course a professional audit, because we need that as well. So the exact specifics on XHDX will follow soon. So to summarize, the current roadmap looks as follows. Rococo testnet, which is gonna be on substrate, of course, then ERC20, then stakenet, then the incentivized testnet, then interchain incentivized testnet, then the Kusama chaos net, which is called Basilisk, and then the mainnet launch is gonna be the very last step. So they still got a long way to go here. There's no when moon here, right? Because I was told this by one of the marketing guys from HydraDX. There's no when moon with HDX, so you gotta be holding and you gotta be patient. There's no way you're gonna make a quick gain here with HDX. But I'm not saying that there's not gonna be FOMO. Of course there's gonna be FOMO, it's just that whales can't control the price. So this is how the planned HDX distribution looks like. 5% is gonna go on balancer, 5% for stakenet and incentivized test network, 15% the founding team and investors locked and stakeable, and 75% for liquidity mining and staking rewards. So here we can see that this is the majority, and this is where normally private investors would get a hold of and try to dump on you. So that's not going to work. And do check this out. I mean, this article still has a lot more, but the goal here is for them to launch in early February, right? Pending the technical setup. So the official date is going to be announced on their official channel, of course, which is the HydraDX channel on Telegram. And again, I've done a review on HydraDX if you want to check that out. But yeah, this is pretty much how it's going to work. We're going to find out more as they launch the information, or as they release the information on their Telegram channel. That's it from today's video. I'd like to thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Take care. Bye-bye.